Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we'll be reviewing all of the Cybertronian Bumblebee movie Autobots that I have and that are officially from the Scene 1, Act 1 of the Bumblebee movie. Except for him, he's an interesting case. So yeah. So all these figures here are based off of characters that appeared in the first scene of the Bumblebee movie. And as you can see here, they're all in vehicle mode, but the only one who had a vehicle mode was Bumblebee, or B127, here. So, why is that? Because these have to be transforming figures, they decided to give them all original vehicle modes, based off of what the robot modes from the film were, except for Sunstreaker here. Sunstreaker here is one of the, wholly original, technically Bumblebee movie themed figures, that being a complete concept art, kind of like how the Megatron that I reviewed previously from Bumblebee movie was also a concept art figure. I'll have that video in the description and in the linked comment below. Also, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun doodads. Sorry. So yeah, all these vehicle modes, except for Bumblebee here, are wholly original, leading them to work backwards from the robot modes. So yeah. So which one to start with first? Let's start with the main one here. So this is B127, aka Bumblebee, before he, crash landed on Earth. And it looks like a mouse. Its main excuse, especially for all of these, is that they're all Cybertronian, so they can look like whatever they want. They can look as close as they want to their G1 counterparts, kind of sort of in shape, but are not one-to-one. So yeah, it's fine. This vehicle mode's fine. It's just that in some places, like the sides here, they just won't stay tabbed in alongside everything else. It doesn't help that, correct me in the comments, that this is a heavy remold of the Jeep version of this mold. Correct me if I'm wrong, because for a brief time in the movie, Bumblebee was a Jeep in the opening battle scene, I think, with Blitzwing. So yeah, and it's okay. Getting into this mode is a bit annoying, mostly because being fearful of the clear plastic here, because this entire front canopy and the feet here are clear plastic, which does not bode well for its longevity, because this is before they figured out how to do clear plastic properly, is the best way I can say it. But then again, I haven't experienced any cracking issues for any of these guys so far. It's just that this one I'm worried about the most. Also, this version was a buzzworthy Bumblebee exclusive, because the original B127 was like this yellow here for the figure and had the battle masked head. I don't know if I still have that version. I'll try to find it later and show it off for comparisons between this one. But it's the same vehicle mode, just a different head sculpt and such. So yeah. So let me get everyone out of frame so we can get on to this one's transformation. So yeah. I might do an update video if they ever, well, I say update video, but if they ever do more concept art like Autobots in the future, I'm probably wait for more of them to come out and then group them up into another video. So yeah, but yeah, onto this guy's transformation. First things first, remove the gun from down here, because it just goes into these two tabs here, which on the original version it did not hold well. So yeah, so then after removing it, we carefully move this up, because it just tabs into the feet here, and then lower it down enough so that way you can like rotate it up like this. Then we can untab the sides here from the back, and then untab the feet from each other. Untab the wheel well here and just let it be on this armature. Fold in the wheel right here, just like this. Should be looking like that. And then bring the side of the car down on this clear plastic hinge, which is... Bring down the feet, bring down the ankle armor, tab it in right there, and repeat the same process on the other side. Come on. There we go. So yeah, then you can like do whatever you want with the feet and press it, or just leave it like this. So yeah, and then the next step, untab this panel here, and then bring it down. Bring the backpack here on the hinge, so that way we can fold out the head. Just like that, you bring it down, and then we need to bring it out far enough so that way we can fold in these two like arm panels here, and then bring it back, tab them in there to lock it in place. And then open these up. Also, I just noticed that on camera, it's kind of, well, actually, never mind, it's just, I guess it was just with the painted yellow that made it look like regular Bumblebee yellow. So yeah, and then fold that down, fold this up, rotate the arms forward, and then bring the head down, and then you can fold up this piece here. And there we have B-127 in robot mode, and it's accurate to the film. It is, to an extent. It's just that because of it being a remold of the Jeep Bumblebee, there's some leftover, like, hinge parts, like, right here, and just a very big backpack. It's just very awkward, and also the leg panels down here, like, they're supposed to tab in here, but it's more so that they just rest there than anything else. Like, I think it depends on your, like, copy of the figure, but, like, they never stay tabbed in on this version or on the original, like, Battle Masked version of this mold. And also you can put the blaster in the arm here. It does fully encase the hand, making it look like it came out of his arm, which is, like, how it does in the film. I don't know if there's well, actually, there is weapon storage, and the storage is kind of hilarious to me. Like, I think in the instructions, if I remember correctly, they just have you put it back here, like, in the gap. Like, no tab, nothing like that. I suppose you can put it back here, like it was in vehicle mode, but... What? Oh, there it is. I guess you can do that, but then, yeah. And you can use the arm blade that came with the Jeep version, or I think the Volkswagen, like, Bumblebee from this movie. On the arms here, it's the same tab slot connection, and you can use the same blaster, because I think it's just the same mold across all of them. If I'm wrong, then correct me in the comments. So yeah, let's look at this face. And arguably, this is, like, a really good, like, Bumblebee, like, face sculpt. I think I like it the most out of all of it. Out of all of them. And speaking of Bumblebees, let's compare him to his original G1 self, or at least the 4-pack Buzzworthy Bumblebee version, because, well, this is the only G1 Bumblebee that I have, and also there's a new 86 one that's releasing at some point soon. So yeah. So, interesting translation from original to the screen. So let's get on to articulation for the Bumblebee. So he has a ball joint at the head, can not really look up, but from the side it makes it look like he has So you can do that as well, which just looks wrong. Like, ugh. So yeah, just full rotation, head tilts, up and down. I don't know if you can take it off as a battle mat. No, you can't. Though I'm surprised it didn't just make the face swappable with the with a battle mask and include that. But nope, 2 separate releases. Very weird. Very weird. But yeah, ball joints at the shoulders can't go the full 360, but can go all the way out, and has a bicep swivel with a little bit over 90 degrees of bend at the elbow, nothing at the wrist. Limited waist rotation due to the backpack. Hips are on ball joints that can go forward, back, and almost all the way out. There is a thigh swivel, but I can't do the full 360 because this panel will bump into the leg. Knees. Like, you can do the full 90, just that you have to work it past some of the, like, junk here. And then the ankles are on a hinge, and you can go forward and back, and then it's on a ball joint for ankle articulation. So yeah, not a bad figure, it's just awkward, and honestly, they could have just left this, like, in the oven for a little bit longer to just deal with all the extra, like, kibbleness at all, because this leg stuff doesn't really tab in. Like, it just kind of rests there, and, like, it just, you bump into it when you're messing with it, considering he's, like, all leg, kind of, but also it's just very short. So, yeah. So, let's see who else. Let's see the figure that was kind of remolded from him, or at least had some of the same engineering traits, that being Wheeljack. In his Cybertronian, like, race car mode, which kind of homages like back to his like G1 like alt mode, which is kind of cool because, like, unlike Bumblebee, he has no alt mode to essentially like speak of for the movie, because he just appeared for like a few seconds, and that's it. So yeah, can roll pretty well, actually, surprising. Wheels are clear, and so are the feet, which is also all this here. So it's really weird, the fact that they, instead of just using like the plastic to make it like stand out, they decided to just mold it in clear, like, smoky gray plastic, which is weird to me. It's just, why? So yeah, let's get on to transformation. To start off with, fold in these wing bits here, and then fold out the arms, fold this down to reveal the Autobot logo, then bring this all up. Move the head out there, and rotate it around. Then we can fold up this piece up here, and then fold it all in here just to form the chest. And then, come on, there we go. Then we untab the wheels here from the sides. Then fold down the feet. Bring the knees down like that. Extend this out, rotate down, close it in. Do the same thing on the other side. And then accordion the wheels back here so they look like this, just like that. Then untab the side panels. Untab them from both sides. I think that'll help. Rotate that. Bring this around, just like that. Make sure it goes into the tabs here on the sides of the leg armor and rests back here. Completing that. Untab the legs. Rotate this around so that way the chest is facing forward. Untab the arms and then rotate them out just like that. There we go. Then bring in the head, bring it down, make sure these tabs here on the side go into the like slots here. Bring out the arms, bring the chest. Actually, first you bring the chest up, make sure it goes into there, and then you tab the sides of the car into the chest. And then we bring these up, and there we have Wheeljack in robot mode. And honestly, it's a good robot mode. Like, it's pretty accurate to the film from what I remember. And honestly, like, if it didn't have like the robot and like, well, the vehicle mode kibble, like, you could convince me this was just like a straight up, just regular like Marvel Legends action figure kind of sort of thing. But yeah, like, it is as close as you can get to this frame model with the necessary cuts of being a transforming vehicle, but it hides its like vehicle mode parts pretty well. Like you can only really see all the wheels from the back here, and the only wheels you would technically really notice here is the wheels down here on the legs, because it's kind of clever how they hide the wheels up here, because it becomes the back of the vehicle mode, which is honestly really clever. And let's get a look at that face sculpt, which is where they dedicated a lot of the paint to. Like, that looks really good. Very nice modern reinterpretation of Wheeljack, and also he does come with this gun here, which is pretty much the same model that all the other like characters pretty much use, which saved them time, I think, in doing like the CGI, because from what I understand, the Cybertron scene was a rush job. So yeah. So let's look at his G1 incarnation, this being from the 5-pack that recently released. So, yeah. Honestly, not bad in terms of, like, interpreting the G1 design to the new one, which honestly is, like, really clever. Like, the elements end up in, like, similar places, ironically enough. So, yeah. So, and also comparison to B, pretty much the same height and like similar like engineering ideas between the two, like where the sides of the like car become like panels on the legs, and actually that's kind of really it. Huh. So yeah. So let's look at articulation. He has a ball joint at the neck, can tilt side to side, look up that far, and can rotate. Then again, on my copy, actually, it's rotating on the pin, which is really weird. Like, if you can see right there, like, it's just rotating on the pin. Like, meaning there's, like, the head joint is just, like, that tight. So, yeah. There we go. Shoulders are on a ball joint. Can do a full 360, can go out that far. Bicep swivel, double bend at the elbow, thanks to transformation. Nothing at the wrists. And also these can move up and down. These are meant to be the like little wings that he had on his G1 incarnation, but instead they're just on the shoulder. So it does kind of break the silhouette, but hey, it's fine. They had to put him somewhere. He does have a waist rotation. Doesn't really go that far because it bumps into the chest piece here. Legs can go forward that far, it can go back that far, it can go out not that far, and has a 90-degree bend at the knee. You just kind of have to hold it all together because that can happen. And then has a ball joint at the foot and a little bit of forward and backwards. So you can get a little bit of a tilt out of this. So honestly, really good figure. If you can find it for cheap, which I'm pretty sure you can at this point, because I think they had like some sort of clearance 2-pack thing with this guy. I don't remember when, but I remember it happening. So yeah, like honestly, not a bad live action Wheeljack. A little bit better than what we got in Rise of the Beasts, but then again, I see Rise of the Beasts has its own like interpretation. So yeah, so our next figure will be let's do Brawl, which is supposedly like a mining vehicle of sorts. Like, he never really had a drill bit in the movie. This is just something that they included extra. You can also fold this port away if you just want it to be like just a regular little vehicle. So yeah, like, it's honestly pretty, like, also you can just see the head right there, because I don't know, they can just explain it away as Cybertronian. Like, it's not a bad vehicle mode. Like, it rolls pretty well, and its transformation is like really clever in my personal opinion. Also, weapon storage up there thanks to this port slot, which I think is 3mm compatible, but out of the box it was very loose. So I recommend putting at least a little bit of super glue, then just like not leaving it here, but like moving it and then taking it off and just leaving it. Also, you can put the drill bit on top of the gun for storage if you want to do that as well. It's a way to keep all his stuff together. So yeah, get that out of the way, and then we can start off with transformation. To start, you want to bring out the legs right here. Just make sure that you pull like that. Like, you got to, because it tabs into this wheel well here and onto the little tab right here for the legs. So yeah, then fold this all down. Rotate this forward. No, rotate it like this, where the underside is all forward, and then rotate this all around, fold foot up, rotate around, foot up, and then rotate this all around. You can bring the head up, and then untab the arms here from the windshield right here, bring them forward, fold in this wheel well, and then bring it all down, bring the arms around, straighten out the arms, and then boom, here we have Brawl in his robot mode, which is accurate to the few seconds that we see him get blasted in the chest. So yeah. Honestly, not a bad Brawl. If you want a more realistic take on Brawl, this is honestly, I say go for this, but do know the Cybertronian alt mode and all that. And speaking of Brawl, let's take a look at him compared to his 86 incarnation, which... it's not a bad translation. Pretty accurate in terms of like where the colors from this model go onto here. Replace the silver with like more gunmetal gray, and then like it's pretty much like accurate, like even to the size of each other. So like you have options. If you want a more realistic Brawl, then there you go. If you want a more cartoon accurate Brawl, this one's the one for you. And there's also a dead version of this coming out with, well, with Ratchet, so that's fun, I guess. So yeah. So for articulation, he does only have a rotation here at the head, and like no up or down, considering how much of like a bucket head this is. And come on, camera, focus. Thank you. Like, look at how much of a face that is. Like, it's not really much of anything. So yeah. Arms are on ball joints, can do a full 360, can go out that far. Technically has a bicep rotation, but it's not really all that useful. Like, it's inside the like green shoulder part, meaning that it bumps into where the arm like lays. And also, you can... nah, you can't really get a butterfly joint out of the transformation joint, so yeah. So, a double bend at the elbow. A wrist swivel, which I think is the only bot out of all of these that have a wrist swivel, which is very weird. It does have a waist rotation. Legs can go back that far, can go forward that far. Can't really do the splits because, well, the wheels are right here. And he does have a like thigh swivel, a little bit over 90 degrees of bend at the knee, and a pretty good ankle like pivot, and some like toe articulation, but it's more downwards than anything else. So yeah. Here's me. So yeah. And I mean, you can give him the gun and such, which I think you can also... Oh, yeah, you can. You can also put the tip of the drill into the gun if you want it to be more of a mining tool or anything else. And considering this is 5mm compatible, this makes his gun the only gun, to my knowledge, that is 5mm compatible with blast effects. Or... yeah, pretty much. The only gun that is like 5mm compatible. Also, something I forgot to show off for Wheeljack here is that you can store the blaster here on the back. It's like this post. So yeah. Also, comparison between Wheeljack and Bumblebee. Like they're all small deluxes, which is not a bad thing, but people do complain about the size of figures a lot nowadays, which sucks. So yeah. So next up we have let's do Arcee. So yeah, here we have Arcee in her bike mode. I guess it's supposedly a Cybertronian bike with the entire chest exposed here on the back. Like, as I said, they pretty much designed backwards from the robot mode to make vehicle modes, which, as I say, it was clever, but can also lead to just parts of the robot mode being left out like this. So yeah. Also, there are options to store the guns back here. You can put them in her hands to hide them if you want to, like this, which I think is how it is in the instructions. I honestly prefer putting them on these tabs right here. So yeah. So let's take these off actually, and then we can get on to transformation. To start off with, we will untab the back here from both the thighs and the arms, which is what locked them into place. Then extend out the hands, extend the arms down, untab the chest here, and then we can untap everything else that is going to become the backpack from the lower legs. Rotate the legs around, untab the back of the thighs from this, so that way they look just like this. Bring the ankles down, bring that out, rotate it forward, rotate it around like this. Also, for the wheels here, because, well, the front wheels have to function, they did mold in this little slot here for it to rest into the ankles, so that way, in robot mode, they don't move. It's really nice. Do the same thing on the other side. There we go. We got pretty much all the robot mode, like all the robot mode done, except for all this, which will become the backpack. So bring the head out, according everything in the segments like this. Bring it up, bring this around. Make sure this tab here goes into this slot right where my fingertip is. And then accordion it all in. Make sure that the head goes in there. Make sure this. Then rotate all this around. There's a locking point to all of this. I know it. I found it out a while ago. Could have sworn. So yeah, here we have Arcee in her robot mode. And honestly, this is a really good Arcee that transforms with minimal kibble, and both modes are really good. It's just that the vehicle mode has a bit of the robot mode just sticking out, which does suck in my opinion. But yeah, honestly, really good robot mode. And here she is with her 86 incarnation, which is meant to be her G1 self, which it's a good toy. I'll talk more about it in its own review with the rest of the 86 cast once Springer comes out. So yeah, get this out of the way. So yeah. So for her articulation, she has a ball joint at the head. You can look up that far, look down, do a full 360 if you just rotate it around. Annoyingly, on my copy, the head is pretty loose. I'm probably going to fix that later. Also, come on, focus, please. Focus. There we go. Silver eyes. Like, honestly, the, like, face detail is surprisingly amazing across all these figures. So, yeah. So, her arms are on hinge joints here, even though they might look like ball joints. So they can go out that far, can do almost a full 360. But if you just move it past the like backpack pieces here that are on ball joints and also rotations. I don't know why they're like this. If someone can explain to me in the comments. So yeah, she also has a waist sole. Also biceps rotation, double jointed at the elbow, and nothing at the wrist besides inward movement thanks to the transformation. Legs are on ball joints, can go forward that far, back that far, and then all the way out. Thigh rotation right here. 90 degrees of bend at the knee, and really good ankle articulation. So yeah, honestly, if you just want a standalone Arcee, I honestly say go for this, but if you want a G1 version of Arcee, I do say go for 86, but this mold did get reused in an Amazon exclusive sniper pack, I think. So if you want to experience this mold but not have it be Arcee, then I say go for it. Like, it's, as I said, it's a really good mold that I'm honestly surprised that they reused for Legacy. Or at least, like, heavily remolded. So yeah. 1 second, sorry. So, let's take a look at our next two figures, that being well, actually, wait a second, I forgot to do comparison between Arcee, Wheeljack and Brawl, and the namesake of the film, Bumblebee. So, about the same height, actually. I thought she'd be a bit taller. But yeah, pretty much the exact same height. Except for Brawl and Bumblebee, those are smaller guys. So yeah, let's take a look at our next two figures, that being... sorry, my brain just farted. Ratchet and Ironhide, both being essentially recolors of themselves, of each other, with Ratchet coming first and then Ironhide. Like, besides the obvious color differences, there's only like one molding difference between the two, that being just their heads. So yeah. Sorry about the cut there, I had to go take care of something. So, these two are just repaints, slight remolds of each other, meaning that they're just easy to do it like this because we saw Ironhide, we saw Ratchet, and so easy repaints. And I think there was a Bumblebee like drone listing that was a thing a while ago. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, because I barely remember it. That I was going to use these like this mold for like generic background troopers, which I'm surprised they haven't done yet. But then again, I guess since it's been so long since Bumblebee that they thought like it wouldn't be worth it. So yeah, so we just got these two molds. So yeah, which both roll pretty well. Ironhide a bit more so than, well, actually, I guess I just didn't give Ratchet enough force. So yeah, pretty reminiscent of their van Ultra Mods, with even with like the little striping on each one, which is pretty cute in my opinion. And then you just look over here and then boom, you see their heads. So yeah, So for transformation, let's go with Ratchet first, since considering he came out first. So yeah, so first things first, take the gun off, and then start off with, take these panels and move them out, untab the arms from the feet, and then untab the shoulders from the thigh pieces here, because they go into these bottom slots right here, not into the big empty space that's above it right here. It's a mistake that happens a lot, especially when I'm transforming this guy back into vehicle mode. So yeah, start off with extend everything, and then the ever so fan moded, like flying ambulance. Cute, I guess. So yeah, bring this all around, untab this panel here from there. Then we can untab the entire chest unit from the legs. Then we can bring it all up on itself. Bring that down. Bring this up and in. Rotate this all out right here. Then we can unfold, furl the legs. Fold out the feet. Fold up these wheels here. So they're like that. For some reason on my copy, this wheel is just very loose, so it might get bumped around. So yeah, there we go. Rotate this all around. So, bring it all down. Fold this piece over where the head now appears. Tab it all into place. Also rotate the thighs around, so that way they match. Rotate this around. Then bring this down and then fold the arms around using this tab into this slot right here to secure it into place. Same thing on the other side. Bring the hands forward and then flip them out. And here we have Ratchet in his robot mode. And it's, to my knowledge, just pretty accurate to what we see in the film. Let me just transform this guy real quick. And here we go. So yeah, pretty much the same mold, it's just that the paint is all that like separates them from each other. Also, weapon storage here on the back has this little tab right here. You can go right in there. Boom, weapon storage. So yeah, I think in the film they had like some minor cosmetic like size, like shape differences. Like I think Ratchet's like torso was like a bit smaller, so making his arms look a bit bulkier, and then this is pretty much how like Ironhide looked. So yeah, it's pretty accurate to what we see in the on-screen models, and it is surprising how well, it's surprising like how good they made like this, like especially like how they made each like look like a bit different considering like how they like painted it, like the gray is painted here, the gunmetal's like up here on like either one, like the shoulders are in just full gray while this has like a red stripe running down them. Helps differentiate them from each other. And speaking of which, here we have Ironhide from 86 and Ratchet from 86. So, I mean, just add in the core class, and then we just need leaders for these two, and then we have an entire wave of just Ironhides and Ratchets, which is kind of funny to me. So yeah. Like similar elements that harken back to the G1 incarnation to make them more realistic. Just that I don't think on the model for Ironhide here, he had like the red bits right here. I think they were all in gray. Correct me if I'm wrong. But considering where this was probably laid out on the like mold, they had the cast in gray and didn't have enough for the paint budget, I guess. I don't really know. Also, they have like full wheels here painted. Pretty cool. So yeah, we went for transformation with this guy. We're going to go with articulation with Ironhide. So, also, has light piping. Pretty cool. Something you don't normally see nowadays. So yeah, head is on a pauldron going into the chest. He does have a waist swivel, and if you untab the chest, you can get like a side-to-side crunch, which is something you don't normally see. But officially for transformation, you're meant to like keep it tabbed in like that. Also, I'm going to take the gun off the back. So, tap in, please. Thank you. So, arms can do a full 360. You can go out all the way. Bicep rotation. Elbow bend at a little under 90 and can go backwards. Nothing at the wrist besides some inward, mostly because of transformation. Waist rotation. Legs can go forward that far, can go back that far. Can do the full splits. Thigh rotation. 90 degrees of bend at the knee. Little bit of ankle articulation. And some, like, you can use the transformation joint to, like, point the toe in whatever direction you want. So, yeah. Honestly, not a bad mold for a deluxe version of Ironhide and Ratchet, but like I feel like it's fine. It's good for if you want to make an entire scene for all of the like Autobots that appeared in the first part of the movie. Like, this is pretty much like all of the Autobots that appeared. Like, these are like the ones that, well, that weren't like Optimus Prime, but then again, we don't have a Cybertronian Optimus Prime from that scene at all, which is surprising. But yeah, I feel like, especially with these figures back here, I feel like that was them delving into would become the concept art line now, but like testing it out with like, what if we turn the robot modes into like vehicle modes that they never had in the film? Like, it's an interesting concept. I don't know if I go well with a lot of the Autobot ones. I do like the Decepticon ones, like, because, well, only like one of them transforms, but I don't know, it just feels more cohesive considering that there's less of them. And that's where I kind of have the problem here with Sunstreaker, which we will now take a look at. Like, as a figure, this looks good. It can roll really well. It looks like it would kind of fit into the same universe that all the rest of the figures come from, but it is a wholly concept art thing, which is fine, but it feels kind of unnecessary to me. Mostly just adding more, like, just grunt Autobots, essentially, to a scene that they were never in. So, yeah. Like, it does roll really well, and the wheels are inside, and also in clear plastic. So, giving them, like, that spinning turbine effect. Also, you can mount the guns up here, or you can untab them, and just make them switch sides, or tab them in on either side here. Which is pretty cool, I guess, options. So, yeah, let me just take these off. Put them to the side. And let's get the transformation started. To start off with, raise the pauldrons up like this, bring them out, and untab the arms from the sides, just like that. Fold the panels out like this, fold them down, and then boom, there you have the arms. Except, let me just fold this panel back, make sure these tabs go into these slots right here. Then you can fold up the head, untab the windshield from the front of the car, fold in the panels back here, fold this up, then just throw it into the chest, and then tab the windshield in to these tabs on the sides. Then fold down the head, then we could fold down the pauldrons. And now we do the legs. split them apart like this, rotate them around, untab the fronts of the car from there, and then point them backwards. Make sure this slot goes over this tab. Then we fold down the feet, same thing on the other side. And there we have Sunstreaker, like Sunstreaker? Right, Sunstreaker, in his robot mode. And it's a lot of yellow. It honestly, in my opinion, I feel like it needed a little bit more like gunmetal or silver to break up a bit more of the yellow, in my personal opinion. But overall, I think this mold is good. But he never appeared in the film, which makes people wanting to get him a bit more suspect to me. Like I don't know if they actually had concept art for this guy from like during the like making of the film, but I don't know. It feels like they're trying to extend the studio series line, which makes sense, but at some point they're going to run out of characters to do, so I guess that's why they started the concept series stuff. So yeah. Let's bring the guns back in for a second. So if you leave them combined like this, you can tab them into these two ports here for storage, and to kind of replicate what he had, like the vehicle mode, like smokestacks, ventilator thing. Like the only point of reference that I have for it is the 5-pack version of Sunstreaker. Kind of like that right there. Which, these are both good toys. I do prefer this guy a bit more though. So yeah. So for articulation, ball joint at the head, like tilt side to side, and not really look up that far, can do a full 360. Also, that is pretty much just the G1 face with some like mechanical greebling on it, while the other faces have been more interpretations, as it were. Like, it does kind of fit, it's just that I feel like this is a bit too G1. It needed to be a bit more Bumblebee-esque. Arms can do a full 360, kind of, but he does have the hinge inside the chest and not at the shoulder, so the pauldrons do bump into his head, so you don't really... I mean, you can get more, but it just covers his head, and you have to move the pauldron out of the way. He does have a bicep swivel, but it doesn't do a full 360 because it bumps into the wheel back here. 90 degrees of bend at the elbow, nothing at the wrists. Also, hollow arms. I can understand why, because, I mean, well, to a certain extent, because this part had to go in here somehow, and physical limitations are a thing. He does have a waist rotation. Legs can go forward that far, can go back that far. I have no idea what that sound was. Rotation here at the thigh. Knees can go a little under 90. Forward and backward, a little, mostly forward for the feet, mostly because of transformation. And a good ankle pivot. Nice. Also, you can put the guns in his hands. Just like that. It's not bad. Do I recommend it? Has like a kind of realistic interpretation of what a Cybertronian like Sunstreaker would look like? Yeah. Do I recommend it? Has a Bumblebee movie Sunstreaker? I honestly don't know. Like, it's not bad. It's just very weird. And also, why Sunstreaker? Like, why choose him to be one of the first, like, deluxe concept, like, art figures? Like, why not one of the more popular, like, Bayverse concepts? Which, whilst I still wouldn't have got, like, I would have understood. So, yeah. Also, comparisons with the rest of the crew. Okay. And there we go. So there we have everyone, and also a few other comparisons. That being from my Decepticon Bumblebee movie review. There is a Starscream, Thundercracker. Sorry. Shockwave. And I'm going to bring the camera back a little bit for this. Soundwave. Concept Frenzy, if I'm right. Or Rumble. And the pièce de résistance. Megatron. So, this is pretty much all of the Bumblebee, like, Cybertronian, I should state. Cybertronian, like, figures that I have. I don't have Thrust. I didn't really care for him. But, yeah. These are all the ones that have been officially released and such. So, yeah. It's nice having, like, a complete-ish part of a collection, but I don't know if I need it. Like, these are all good figures in their own rights. I'll link all the relevant reviews to all these extra figures back here. But if you like the designs, if you like more realistic interpretations of G1 designs, I say go for these. But honestly, I'd just say they're pretty fine. Like, I'll probably, like, get rid of a few of them because A, space, and B, I'm just not feeling them anymore. But honestly, I do like them. I did like them when I got them, and honestly, if you have these, more props to you. So yeah, that has been my review for the Bumblebee movie Autobots from the Cybertron scene, plus Bumblebee movie concept art Sunstreaker. And this is me signing off. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll link an entire playlist of stuff in the description and in the pinned comment. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and let me know in the comments what other whatever characters do you want in this, like, concept, like, art line for both, like, Autobots and Decepticons. So yeah, that has been my review. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and this is me signing out. Adios.